What is going on, guys? I am doing a quick video on my CB350 Cafe Racer build. It is a 1971 twin. I bought the bike all original. I'll insert a picture here. And over the better part of the last year, I've been doing some things to it and slowed down during the winter, but I just recently wrapped it up. The bike's now running and riding great. So I figured I'd make a little video on it, kind of show what I did, how I did it. So maybe it'll give someone else an idea in the future. So we'll start at the front and work our way back. The first thing that's pretty noticeable is this bike has the Suzuki GSXR front end conversion. So this whole front end is off of a 0607 Gixxer 600. I bought it off a guy who basically builds race bikes. He had a bunch of spares. All you need is this conversion stem, which is sold by Cognito Moto. And this stem you press out of this bottom tree and you press the new one in, and then you use their supplied spacers top and bottom, and you can just bolt the whole front end to the bike. So it's pretty cool. I have a 120 tire in front, obviously. Dual caliper. Pretty sweet. It's really overkill for this bike. A lot of people have asked me why I did it, just because it looks cool. There's really no other reason to do it. This is just a very cheap throttle assembly that I got off of Dime City Cycles, I believe. This is just a very cheap clutch lever from the same place. And that's about it for front end. Next, we'll move on to the tank. I got this tank on eBay. It was like 75 bucks. It doesn't fit the frame without some modifications. I spent a few hours kind of hammering away at the underside to get it to clear the top tube of the frame, but it does fit. So the tank mounts on these two rubber plugs, I guess I'll call them. I guess they're stoppers, really. I milled these tiny little brackets out of aluminum on my CNC machine. And basically the tank has welded onto it two C shapes, about ½ an inch thick strips. So that C shape just kind of goes onto the rubber stopper. And in the back, it's actually currently zip tied, but I'll be making a bracket for permanent fixture. But the tank is solid. It doesn't go anywhere, and it's got a little bit of play in the front so that it can absorb some vibrations. The engine itself is completely stock. I never pulled it apart. This is the factory exhaust tubes. I took the mufflers off. I rebuilt both carbs, but other than that, the engine is completely unmodified. Got this nice OEM fuel pickock too. Pretty proud of that. Took me forever to find it. So keep moving. These are Dime City Cycles rear sets. It bolts to the plate for the passenger foot pegs, so you'll be ditching those. It's a very simple design and works pretty well. There's a bit of slop in it which you could shim out. I haven't done that yet, but they also give you this nice little offset shift thing. So pretty decent kit. And on the other side, there's one for the brake as well. So this is the brake side, and very similar design. These pegs fold up too, which is pretty convenient. And they say it won't clear, but you actually can kick the bike with these rear sets without modifications to the kickstart, which I will demonstrate later. And I retained the original hub. I was going to replace it and do a disc conversion, but it was too expensive, so I decided against it. So this arm for the drum brake just gets flipped around and then gets pulled as you actuate this. The OEM hub is powder coated black and laced to a 4 1/4 by 17 inch Warp 9 rim. And I had Cognito Moto do the lacing for that. And this tire is wrapped with a 140/70/17 Michelin Power RS, and you can see it just barely clears. There's really not a whole lot of room, but it does fit. And actually you can get more room. I could bring this axle back quite a bit. As you see, I have it basically all the way in the front, but I didn't want to get a new chain. But if you do decide to go with a 140 rear, you can fit it without any modifications to the swing arm. You might just need to buy a longer chain and pull the axle back if your tire is a little bit wider. Then up here, this is a Dime City Cycles cowl and seat combo. And underneath that, I have my electronics tray, which I won't pull apart in this video. I might talk about it in another one. But I just made that in a day out of some sheet steel. So that's about it. I made a custom wiring harness for it. I don't have any lights on the bike. I don't have electric start wired up. So it's very simple. It just keeps the bike running and charges the battery. So the wiring harness is quite simple. I'll put a diagram here so you can see it. But it's really easy. These are great bikes to learn how to work on bikes with. They're very simple, they're very forgiving, and they're very easy to find parts for. So yeah, now I'll wheel it back a little bit and show you it starting up. It's been sitting cold all night, but it's been pretty consistently starting first kick, so we'll see what happens. Says first kick completely cold. The choke is also completely off. I didn't use it at all. So, starts right up. The carbs aren't perfectly tuned yet. I'm using the baseline default setting for the air fuel mixture screw, and I haven't really messed with synchronizing the carbs yet. Kind of just did it by ear, so they're not 100% perfect, but it does idle pretty well, and it rides very well. So, pretty happy with it. And this bike is for sale. Go in the description below, and you'll see my Instagram handle. Send me a DM if you're interested. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully I can answer them. And hopefully this has inspired you with your own build. So see ya.